Again, welcome to ECED 406 and 506. This is Debbie again. I'm going to walk through the syllabus and just point out some areas to make note of and to refer back to if you have any questions. And we'll talk a little bit about each of the assignments. As we move through the course, I will also make some more of these screencast videos about each of the assignments so that you can have some additional information. I'm going to use the 506 syllabus here and try and click into the 406 syllabus. I'm not sure Screencast-O-Matic will let me do that, but I'm going to try so that you can see the difference between the two courses. Again, as I said in the Blackboard video, make sure you are accessing the correct syllabus. If you are an undergraduate student enrolled in 406, use the 406 syllabus. If you are a graduate student or a BAM student who is enrolled in 506, make sure you access this syllabus. So our syllabi in the program all look the same, so they should be very familiar to you. Everybody should have taken the development course before you come into 406 or 506, so make sure you have that prerequisite. It should have been one of the things that you needed to register for the course. And you will see the basic information about having an online course. I'm always available through email. If you need to have a Zoom session with me, I'm happy to plan those with you on an individual basis as well. This is an asynchronous class, so we will not be meeting synchronously online. You will complete this course at your own pace. There is a schedule, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. There's a class schedule on what you're going to be doing each week, and I will open those modules as we go through the semester. I'm not going to open them all up at once. We will go through them week by week. So again, read the information about the online nature of this class. Again, remember it's asynchronous. So I'm just going to scroll through. This information is the same in the 406 syllabus and in the 506 syllabus. So it's all the same. Learning objectives, a lot to learn in the class. You're going to learn about the medical aspects of developmental disabilities. As I believe I stated in the other video, you're going to start with a very in-depth and quick dive into basic human anatomy and physiology. You're going to talk about genetic disorders, fetal development, early development in infancy. You're going to talk about neuromuscular development, the brain and the nervous system development. So it can be very difficult content in the beginning. The book is written by or edited by medical doctors, so it can be pretty intense. If you haven't had this kind of information in a while, if you can't remember back to high school biology or undergraduate biology that you may have taken, but just bear with it. It's a phenomenal textbook. Everybody loves this textbook. It really does cover the information in depth. So just spend the time that you need to with it and you'll get through it. So again, here are the objectives, and they are the same. If you look at the undergraduate syllabus, it is the same. You've got the same objectives that the same content that we're going to cover in both courses this semester. We have the same textbook. This is a textbook that a lot of students like to keep. You're more than welcome to rent it, and you're more than welcome to use the online textbook through Mason Library. Either one works for me. Just make sure that you have access to the textbook. You do need to read the content, and that is one of the things that can be challenging when you're in an asynchronous class, is to follow through and do the readings. But you need this information to get the most out of this course. Now, as I said in the Blackboard video, I do post all of the PowerPoints that go with your chapter readings. So if you're reading chapters 1 and 2 for week 1, you'll find the PowerPoints from the publisher for those chapters on Blackboard. Go ahead and download them, take notes as you're reading, do whatever you need to, but know that you've got that resource there as well to help you understand the content in the textbook. Here's a list of the assignments that you will be completing. Please make note, attendance and participation is worth 25 points. That's 25% of your grade, and that's significant. That's across all of our courses in our early childhood and early childhood special education program. So it's really important to note that. Make sure that you're completing your discussion board posts on time. You will not receive full credit if you don't respond on time. And then you will have a self-evaluation and reflection due at the end of the semester. So that's what I want to say about attendance and participation. You're going to have three main assignments, 2 case studies and a research paper. The case studies you're going to be looking at simultaneously. You're going to be looking at case study 1 with one child, case study 2 with a second child. And instead of doing all of case study 1 and then all of case study 2, I've broken the case studies down into 3 parts. IEP sections, the lesson plan section, and the accommodations and universal design for learning considerations. You're going to do case study 1, part 1, the IEP section, and while you're still thinking about IEPs and how to write goals for students, that's what you're going to do for case study 2. So you're going to actually be doing part 1, case study 1, part 1, case study 2. Once you have that down, then you're going to do part 2, case study 1, part 2, case study 2. So that's kind of the way the assignments are going to work this semester. And again, I'll explain all of this in another video where I talk just about these individual parts of the case study and what the expectations are. You're going to have a research paper to do. Everybody does the case studies. Everybody does the attendance and participation. Everybody does the case studies. Everybody does the research paper. The difference for undergraduates, and I'll flip into that, is you will just do the disability research paper with a handout. You will not do a presentation. So those are the differences between graduate and undergraduate. And there will be some readings that are different as well. Whereas the graduate students will read full chapters and all of the chapters that I list, undergraduates may have some recommended chapters that are not required. So that's the difference, the main difference between graduate and undergraduate. So you're going to be doing a research paper and you're going to have to get your topic approved by me before you start it. So we'll talk about that next week. But just know that these are your 3 main assignments in this class, your case studies and your research paper. And remember, 506 students, you're going to have to do a presentation and you will post that to the discussion board later in the semester. Everybody will do a quick handout. Okay, here is a description of the case studies. And again, I'm not going to go into it right now. I'll do a separate video for that. But here is a description of the case studies and each part of the case studies that you will be turning in this semester. Here is the outline of the research paper. And I want you to be aware that the literature should be within the last 10 years. A lot of progress is made in research, particularly this developmental research. So make sure that you're using recent literature, and you need to be doing your searches through the Mason Library and not Google. I want peer-reviewed professional resources. When we say literature, that's what we mean. It's an 8 to 10 page double-spaced paper following APA format. Make sure you're using your APA manual, not just Purdue OWL. Purdue OWL is a fabulous online resource, but it does not cover all the specifics of APA format. So that's why the APA manual is a required textbook in each of your courses. So make sure you are looking at that. I'm going to have a sign-up sheet for topics so that you can let me know what your topic is going to be for your research paper, and we will start thinking about that next week. Let's just kind of get into the introduction this week, and we'll talk about that next week. So the paper and presentation will be for graduate students. Everybody can do a handout, but the presentation is for graduate students. I think that's it. Grading scale, there's the grading scale for graduate students. Undergraduate students, you do have a different grading scale, so make sure you're aware of whichever grading scale is appropriate for you. And here's the content that we're going to cover. You'll see the content, and you'll always see when your assignments and your readings are due for that week. Since we're not meeting synchronously, as long as you get the readings done that week, that's fine. There's no specific day that you have to have the readings completed by, just as long as you do them for that week. Again, don't forget about the PowerPoints that are on Blackboard. So you will see, let's get over to the undergraduate, and you can see where for week 3, chapter 7 is recommended. It's not required for undergraduates, but if you go over to the graduate syllabus, you'll see that it is a requirement. So again, those are some of the differences. The due dates for your assignments are clearly marked over here on the syllabus. So it's always good to have this downloaded somewhere where you can access it pretty easily. This again is the course schedule. Shows you where when everything is due and what we're going to be discussing each week. And then there is the boilerplate information at the end of the syllabus. One thing to note that you will finish the week of May 8th. May 9th and 10th are considered reading days at Mason, and then May 11th through 18th is the exam week. During exam week, we have to have one assignment due, so we're going to have the attendance and participation self-evaluation due on the 12th. So make sure you turn your self-evaluation in by the 12th. You can always turn it in early if you want to, but it is due by the 12th. So that is just a little overview of the syllabus. Remember, if you have questions about assignments, about when they're due, about what the expectations are, refer to the syllabus because it is your best source of information. And as we move through the course, I will make some additional videos going into a little bit more detail about the assignments, hopefully answering all your questions before you have them. So welcome again. I'm so excited to have you, and I will see you online. Thank you.